I noticed you said something a couple times, right? You said this thing about going to the jobs you don't like, right?
Uh-huh.
What is up with people with this?
This is not an interview. There is no format. This is simply a conversation about life.
I had a family member who she would get these like workout videos and just watch them, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Just watch them.
Just that's it. Just watch them like a TV show.
Yeah, just watch them.
I guess it's a step forward,
Yeah.
absorb the exercise.
Right? Yeah,
Better than nothing.
I don't know. But as I'm thinking about it, going back to my mom, like I think she was doing this work for me.
Mm, mm.
I think she felt like, I got to be able to pay for him to go to school and all, you know what I mean? She all of these things that you're like that children will inspire you to do. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
you've heard of these people like the emergency happens and then they just lift a whole truck off of the, you know what I mean, and
Exactly.
jump
Right.
in front of dogs and get, you know what I mean, all of this stuff that they may not do for themselves, they will do it for a kid.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
I wonder if this could be one of those keys, like where you start thinking about the, your children or your descendants or your, you know what I mean, your family name. Your like Dame Dash talked about this. You know who Dame Dash is?
I do. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Did I tell you about the big thing he did on the Breakfast Club where he was talking about working for his last name and not his first name and all? I feel like
No, I don't think you did.
you
Uh,
got to see
but
this. You have to see this. I feel like this should have been a life, like a culture altering interview.
no
He
kidding. All
was,
right. I'm gonna remember that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll send you the link or whatever. But yeah, and so as soon as I was out of the house, as soon as I was, she's like, all right, he can take care of himself. He'll be all right. You know what I mean? I feel like she eased up off the gas.
Hmm.
She took her foot
Hmm.
off the gas. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because now baby boy's all right, and
All right.
yeah, things aren't as dire.
And yeah, so maybe the idea is to start, if you can't think of this for yourself, think about what it is for other people.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's such an important point because it can be, talk about powerful motivators. You're the health and happiness of your family, your immediate family, your children,
Mm-hmm.
um, or your partner. Uh, you know, are there more powerful motivators than that? Maybe one or two, but like those are up there, and yeah, they will get you to act. The emergency situation, yeah, it's like if somebody you care about is trapped under a car, suddenly you become Superman.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it, how to explain that can be a separate conversation, but
Mm-hmm.
to your point, once the circumstances change, once the motivators change, and they get really powerful, suddenly anything is possible. All of your gripes and explanations for why you can't work another 2 hours or why you can't lift the car up go away
Mm-hmm.
because things come into focus in a different way. What I will say is that I think some people realize that, and some people are, and for some people, it's an effective approach. Like, well, yeah, I don't like what I'm doing here, but it's, going to make a difference for my family, and there's a really good reason to do this. And some people are effective at that. But I think for a lot of people, it still doesn't work because the reward is kind of still a little bit too distant. It's like, yeah, I know that this is going to pay off for my kids and my family. Maybe not tomorrow, but a year from now, and by the time they get to college, yeah, it'll pay off. And so it's like, it's still not enough of an immediate motivator for a lot of people, I think. And that's like, I found myself struggling with that in the past. Like being aware of, yeah, this is the right thing to do for many reasons. Forget me, for my family, for my friends. And it's still, that burst of motivation was kind of fleeting. Maybe it worked for a day or a week, but then it kind of fell back into my holding pattern, and my complacency. I think that happens to a lot of people, because like the reward isn't immediate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what do you think? So then there's no motive. There's no answer. Then maybe there's just no answer, because I was just trying to think of what else you could use to, what else you could do to get yourself hyped up to work in the way that you would work for someone else.
Yeah, well, I think one interesting thing to think about is, what's possible, and what happens when you keep doing what you've been doing. Like you go to your job, you know how to do it. You basically live your life the way you usually live it. You know what happens if you do that. And are you happy with it, or are you not? For I think a lot of people, the answer is no. They're kind of just coasting along. But there are other things they want. And, they think things like, boy, if I only had this, or if I were able to achieve this, I would be so much happier, or I would, get the car that I'm hoping for, or, find the girlfriend, boyfriend that I'm looking for. And so I think that's a powerful motivator, is to jolt yourself out of complacency a little bit by forcing yourself to realize how fed up you are with the status quo. Right. And yeah, sure, that's still easier said than done, but it's like, do you want tomorrow and the day after to be a repeat of today? Assuming today is just like an average day for you. I think a lot of people would say no. And so if you just keep that front of mind and, start making small changes, don't go all out, don't bite off more than you can chew, but start making small changes, towards that kind of more exciting tomorrow, then you're talking. Now we're cooking. Like now we're starting to get somewhere. And I don't know, it's unfortunate, I think, that it sometimes takes like a kind of scary, maybe life or death scenario for people to get to that realization. There is a way to get there without something earth shattering happening. Yeah.
I noticed you said something a couple times, right? You said this thing about going to the jobs you don't like, right? What is up with people with this? The thing that is so interesting to me is I've never had a job that I didn't like. And the reason why I never disliked the job, because I always knew why I was doing the job. And I always had an end goal in mind. I would be working because I want to buy more equipment. Like I want to buy more music stuff. I want to be able to invest in this and not invest as in investments, but like invest in myself and my ultimate goals and my ultimate dreams. Like everything was centered around funding that, Yeah. And I wonder, because it brings to mind two things, and that makes that part easy for me, right? That part is I can reconcile that very easy because I know none of these jobs am I intending to do them for the rest of my life. I don't intend to, you know, retire as, you know, I worked as a porter in the club, you know what I mean? And I didn't realize, I didn't know anything about cleaning crews or whatever. I remember I worked at this club the first night, and when everybody left and I just looked around the club, I was I started panicking a little bit. I was like, yo, what how is this going to be ready for tomorrow? How is this, what is this? You know what I mean? Like, there's just shit everywhere, you know? So I didn't
Yeah.
know that the club, I will say I panicked. But after this, I realized even though I was still taking out trash all during the night, getting, you know, beer juice and all of this stuff on me and people
Who
throwing
knows
up on
what?
me and stuff like that, you know, I did this, but it was fun too though. But I never disliked doing these kinds of manual dirty jobs or any of the ones that I had. I worked in a car wash and all of that different kind of stuff. Like, I always knew why I was doing what I was doing. So I never even thought about being unhappy with my job.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that also brings to light something that can make a big difference in day-to-day happiness and, you know, fulfillment is, do you actually know why you're doing what you're doing?
Mm.
Because you probably have a choice. Some people don't, but you probably have a choice. And as soon as you start getting clarity on that, I feel like so much stress goes away, and you know, you just start seeing things in a much more positive and productive light. Because like you said, yeah, the club could be a mess and you're going to go into panic mode, but at the same time you're having fun and like you're learning a little bit. You're not really complaining. You know what the end game is. You know, this isn't, you're not going to be doing this forever. This is a means to an end. And so, yeah, I think a lot of people don't keep that in mind. I remember hearing this little snippet about like comedians, for example. You know, are you here to tell jokes or do you like to make people laugh? And I think a lot of people should ask themselves that question, whatever you like to do. Because I think a lot of people don't have that clarity. I'm a host at a restaurant. I don't, the pay is crap, but I love it. And I get a lot out of it. Like, you know, I think similar to what you said about being a porter, and yeah, and it's a means to an end. And I think if you can enjoy it at the same time, that's going to flow into the rest of your life too. It's going to give you the energy that you want and need, you know, for time with your kids and, you know, to work on your side hustle, all that stuff. But I think a lot of people skip that and they're like, oh, all right, well, I have a job and I hate it, but I need to make money so that I can pay my utilities. And with my 5 minutes of time remaining before I crash, I'll think about my hopes and dreams and then go to sleep.